Like, why are these guys still in business and these guys over here aren't? And my brother would be like, well, they quit marketing 6 months ago. And so they lost a bunch of work. These guys have marketed no matter what.
Welcome to the Jered Williams Show.
Jered Williams.
Hey, what's up, Joel?
Nothing, dude. How's it going?
I'd let you have that one.
You know,
Just so you know.
I use this old trick that we alphas like to use of making you think that you let me have it, but really you were going to give it to me regardless.
Yeah, I let you have it though. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm the alpha.
Okay, so this episode, let's get right into it. I have this conundrum. It's the age-old conundrum of a growing plumbing business. What comes first? The marketing or the money you spend on marketing? It's like the chicken before the egg or the egg before the chicken. What came first, right? It's the same conundrum. And so here's the conundrum. And I have this with a lot of my clients because they're just starting out. They don't have a ton of money and they're trying to grow a plumbing business and they don't have any work. And so they need to get work. And what's the best thing to do when you need work?
Go get some work.
Go get some work. Go do some marketing. Like, marketing is what makes the work come in. And so with plumbing businesses, it's really, kind of specific because you have to wait for the customer to call you most of the time. So they have to have a problem. Then they're going to go to Google and search for you unless they already know about you, which takes marketing. But even for them to find you on Google takes a little bit of marketing, right?
Right.
So you almost have to do some marketing in order to get the work, in order to have the money to be able to spend on marketing.
Right.
So
yeah.
So it's a conundrum. And and a lot of my guys get stuck there. And they're like, they don't have the money to spend on marketing. So how do we get past that?
Kind of seems to me like it's a trust issue. Like they don't trust that. Yeah. Cause it's like they're not trusting that the money that they have in their hands, which might not be very much, or the money that they're going to put on a credit card isn't going to come back to them quick enough. In my experience, I think they believe that it will. Yeah. Or at all. In my limited experience talking with these guys, I think I can see them go, I know it will come back, but I need it to come back like pretty quick because if it doesn't come back quick, then I don't have any money and I might even be in negative money. So there's this trust factor. And so maybe it's like helping plumbing business owners learn what to trust, maybe what not to trust even, because there's definitely maybe marketing out there that won't actually give you anything. So I think there's this trust issue because you, on the other hand, have a very high level of trust with your marketing where you go, oh yeah, I'll pay for that. No problem. Because I know it's going to give me a return.
Yeah. Or at least I'll try it out.
Yeah. You'll try it out. Yeah. But when you're a little bit bigger, you can risk, right? You have a little bit more money. You have a little bit more things you can risk a little bit. But when you're starting out, that threshold for risk is super, super tiny.
Yes, you can. So there's a little bit of a limited, like you have this belief you got to change, right? Of, okay, I'm going to invest in marketing and it's going to come back to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to die.
Yeah. You're not going to die.
Yeah. Maybe that's one belief they need to get over. I also see a couple other beliefs like in that as well. It's like you have to come up with the belief that, oh gosh, I was just thinking about this. Dang it. I forgot. I'm going to think of it again. Let's move on to something else. Okay. So belief one, marketing, you're going to spend on it, you're going to get it back. Oh, that's the other belief. Some of my guys have money in the bank, right? Or they have a credit card they can put it on. But they have this idea that when money comes in and it comes in the bank, then they don't want to spend it, right? Because they're so used to working a job where they have a limited supply of money.
Sure.
Yeah. Money is tied
Yeah.
to how much time they're going to spend at work. And they can only spend so much time at work. So the money coming in is limited. And they really have to start to understand that when you get money in the bank, you can then take that money and go spend it to create more money and spend it on marketing to create more work, which then creates more money for you,
Yeah.
right?
Huh.
Because that's the only way you're going to be able to like hire guys and then go make even more money. So it's
Yes.
this weird
Yeah.
belief of like trying to hoard money rather than use it as a tool and a resource to
Hmm.
be able to make more. Um, and then there's this third thing I see in there as well that I just thought about is this: they don't understand really the idea of cash flow at that point because
No, no, they don't.
they've never had cash flow. They've never
Sure.
had they've never had this steady stream of money in, money out, money in, money out, right?
Yeah, sure. It's always just been a cash stack where they've just always
Yeah.
stacked cash. They've
Yeah, and
never
it
seen it come in and come out. And like every time it comes in, comes out, it gets a little bigger. Your stack gets a little bigger, but you're still cycling it in and out. Sometimes it just goes really small because you spend a whole bunch on
yeah.
something that's
Yep.
valuable, and then it comes back even bigger.
Yeah, and so and I did this too early on in my business. They're looking at their expenses that they've incurred, and they're looking at how much money they're making right now, and they don't
Mm.
understand that if they spend this money, it will create more cash flow so that they can pay this new expense, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
weird concept because you don't do that outside of business. Like you don't do that at home, you know?
Yeah. Sure.
Like your whole
Hmm.
life before you started your plumbing business, and this is for any home service business that needs to advertise to get work.
Hmm.
You're going to come across this same conundrum. So you're going to have
Hmm.
to get rid of these limiting beliefs of, those three things.
Can you outline those again really quick for me?
So the first one was what was it?
So the first one, oh dude, the first one was crap. Go with the
We're
second
the
one. We'll
worst.
get back.
We're the
We'll get
worst
back to
memory podcasters ever.
it. No, we're good.
Geez.
It's
Guys,
all gonna
trust
come.
us. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. It's all in the practical. Like
The first one was the trust in the marketing. Like you have to
yeah.
trust
Okay.
that the marketing is actually going to create work, which is going to create more money in your bank, right? So you have to
Yep.
trust that process. Um, and then, which you should find a marketing company that you trust, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Talk to people you know, ask around who's a good
Sure.
marketing company, talk to other business owners that are in your niche,
Mm-hmm.
find one that's highly recommended, and then go with that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I would recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the second one was the idea of not hoarding your money,
Yep.
but seeing money come in and then being okay spending that money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I talked to a guy the other day. He had 30 or 40 grand in the bank and he
Mm-hmm.
still hadn't hired a marketing company.
Hmm.
And so I said, "Hey dude, you need to go like hire a legit marketing company to make sure that like all your bases are covered, your website, your PPC, all that stuff. Just go hire them, pay them their retainer." And he goes, "Well, how much does that typically cost?" And I'm like, "Anywhere from 3 to 5,000 a month for the retainer, and then you're going to need to spend some money on ads as well." And he's like, "I can't afford that." And I was like, "Well, what's your cash position? How much cash does the business have?" And it's just him right now. He
Mm-hmm.
goes, "I got like I think he like had like $38,000." And I was like, "Dude, you got plenty of money." They're
Sure.
like, "That's plenty of money. Like you're going to
Mm-hmm.
spend, maybe 10 or 15 of that, and then you're going to
Mm-hmm.
see all of that come back because the
Right.
marketing is going to create more opportunity, which creates
Right.
more money."
Right.
Um, so yeah, definitely don't be afraid to hire a marketing company. And then once you
Hmm.
get that cash in, don't be afraid to spend it on more
Mm-hmm.
marketing, right? Because even if
Mm-hmm.
you have a marketing company, um, and you trust your marketing company, like the first downfall of most people, like you trust the marketing is going to work, you trust the process, then it starts working, you get the cash in, you're always going to be reinvesting more money into more marketing as you grow
Right.
your business. It's
Right.
not like a one-time deal where you're like, okay, I'm paying 5 grand a month for my marketing. I'm done.
We're good. That's it. All I ever need to do.
You're going to hire 2 more guys and you're gonna be like, crap, I got to do more marketing. You're going to go to your
Yep.
marketing company and
Yep.
go, dude, can we spend more money in any of these areas that we're already doing?
Mm-hmm.
If we can't, can we market some other way?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just going to put more money into marketing
Mm-hmm.
consistently as you grow. What was the third one? Third one was the idea of cash flow.
Right.
So, and I don't really know how to explain cash flow super, super well, but it's this, you're creating cash flow, and that's really what you want to focus on. You don't want to focus on money in the bank. You want to focus on cash flow when you're growing. So it's like
Right.
how much cash can I bring in versus how much cash can I bring out? It's it's a weird concept to get used to when you're starting out because
Mhm.
you've never done it your whole life.
Mhm.
And you'll see bigger money numbers than you've ever seen in your whole life. Like
Right. Right.
you'll see 100 grand come in and 90 grand go out, or
Right.
200 grand come in and 180 grand go out,
Right.
or you'll start seeing 500 grand come in, but then see 400 grand go out, right?
Right.
Bigger numbers than what you're used to. And it can kind of mess with your psyche, but it really
Go to
does.
the yeah, yeah,
But
yep.
it's like, I guess the best way to explain it is like the idea of cash flow, especially when you're doing a plumbing business, is you're billing out jobs daily. Okay. So you're getting cash in daily.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and it builds up your bank a little bit and then you spend some.
Right.
But you can drop those funds further than you think because you have cash coming in. Okay.
Sure, yeah. Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
like, people be worried. I know there was times where I was worried about making payroll, right? Or
Mhm.
I'd have 10 grand in the bank and I had 4 guys running, and I was like, it'd be Monday, and I'd be like, "I don't have enough money for payroll on Friday."
Mhm.
But what I didn't realize is that I'm gonna make money Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that
Right.
money's like, all the money from Monday through Thursday is gonna be in my bank by Friday morning,
Right.
and then I'm gonna make payroll, and it's weird. You'll make payroll, and then your bank account will just go back down to, say you started the week with 10, you make payroll
Mhm.
and your bank account goes down to 12 or
Right.
13, right?
Yep.
And so Monday, you're sitting there freaking out. How am I gonna make
Right.
payroll? I don't have enough money to make payroll. And
Mhm.
then at the end of the week, you have more money than what you started with and you made
Mhm.
payroll. That's cash flow.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
And what you want to see is a positive cash flow. So you want to see your bank account growing every time you sort of reset or every time you have a big cash out moment when you come back. If everything's
Yep.
working properly, you don't have any weird stuff happen, like you didn't have to do this unexpected thing, right?
Yep.
Like you should be coming back to that Monday a little bit more profitable
Yeah.
than you were the last day. And that means you have a positive cash flow, which is
Yep.
what you want.
Yep. And that positive cash flow is what you use to go invest in other areas of your business. So
Right. Sure.
you would take that extra 3 grand that you made. I'm going to go put it in marketing, or I'm going to go buy this drain machine, or I'm going to go put a down payment on another truck, right?
Hmm.
And that's what you grow your business off of, is that right there.
Do you ever experience like this fear, like what if the work just stops? Like let's say you're in this cash flow situation, you're going and everything, and then you're thinking about, I'm going to take my profit or whatever, my profit from
Hmm.
my cash flow, I'm going to reinvest it into something. Do you ever have
Hmm.
this fear in the back of your head, like what if the work just stops and I'm screwed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Especially when you're just starting out. But I mean, that's like, I would argue that's one more reason you should always be investing in marketing,
sure,
because
because
that's what keeps the work going.
hmm.
Um, and I think if you were to think like, okay, what if this stops? I'm screwed if it does. That's going to kill you while you're trying to grow your business,
Right, sure.
because when you're small, to put enough money away, like to build cash reserves that are large enough to float you, is really hard because you're
Right,
just not
yeah.
making that much cash, right?
Right.
So if you can
Yep.
hurry up and
Hmm.
grow this thing to where you're making a bunch of cash, it's going to be way easier to put cash reserves away, right?
Sure, sure.
So for, a business that is making $1 million a year, to go put 500,000 away in cash reserves only takes them 6 months,
Hmm.
versus a company that is, making a 200,000 a year, um, and they might need to put away 100,000,
Hmm.
or they're going to need to put away more than that realistically,
Right,
right?
yeah. Hmm.
Because just the economy of scale, they're going to need to
Hmm.
put away 200,000, right? It's going to take them a
Hmm.
year.
Mhm.
Um, it's going to take way longer, and it's going to be more risky for those guys because they
Mhm.
don't have this level of, as you grow, you get this economy of scale, so you can be
Mhm.
more profitable, which means you can make more cash faster, more
Mhm. Mhm.
percentage, get a higher percentage of return,
Mhm.
and you have less risk as well
Sure.
because of your economy of scale. Like everybody in your company doesn't have to perform as well as when you were
Mhm.
like a 2 or 3 man truck operation,
Mhm.
right? So that's like the most risky spot to be. So if you can hurry up and get yourself out of there, spend all the money you make back in your business to grow it to a point where you get the economy of scale, you have, less risk, you're pulling in
Mhm.
more profits. You can go put money away for a rainy day. Then if the
Mhm.
work does stop, you've got a few months to figure it out.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
And and another thing to think about, Joel, is for the work to just completely stop
Sure.
is probably something crazy's gotta happen.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it slow down, but I've never seen it completely stop.
Right. Yeah. That would be some sort of weird catastrophe or a
It
blunder or just something.
Yeah, it'd be it'd be an act of God, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so, like, in that, like, I've seen it slow down, but because of our economy of scale now at my plumbing business, the slow times, we still make money,
Yeah.
even when it's slow. And whereas before, when we were smaller, when we didn't have that
Hmm.
economy of scale,
Mhm.
we were actually losing money when it was slow. We didn't
Mhm.
make any money until it was busy again.
Hmm. How much do you talk about that, like, within your coaching? Because that seems like a really, like, you like, coaching guys and be like, "You need to get through this because once you
Yeah.
get to this point, that fear that you have of, like, I'm losing money because it's slower," when you fear the slow times, you
Yep.
begin to not fear the slow times. Yeah, you
Yeah.
won't make as much money, but you're still making money, and that's, like, as a business owner, I'm sure that's just, like, a really nice place to be.
It's a way better place to be than back when you're losing money, I can tell you that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like year
yeah.
before last, 2021, I think there was like 3 or 4 months where we lost 30 or 40 grand
Mm,
just because we didn't have that economy of scale developed yet.
right,
And
right.
so those months were slow. But then this year, those same months, just as slow, but we're cash positive
Yeah. Hmm,
just because we have more economy of scale.
hmm. So how did you trust in marketing? Like, how did you get over that, or did you have to get over that?
Um, I have seen marketing work. So like when I first started my plumbing business, let's see, back in 2016, I started for the first time. Like I just did
Mhm,
some guerrilla marketing, like
mhm,
just getting my name out there on Facebook. Um, and it worked. And then my
hmm,
brother has always been in marketing. So,
mhm.
you know,
Sure.
I know the stories of it working for companies. And then I just looked at like the businesses around town in my area that have been around the longest, and they're the ones that have consistently marketed.
Mhm,
And you can tell like there's a spa place in Fairbanks that has seems like they do really, really well. And I've seen their ads for the last 20 years.
mhm,
And I know they've been consistently marketing. And then my brother does their marketing. And I'm like, how come these guys, like, why are these guys still in business and these guys over here aren't? And my brother would be like, well, they quit marketing 6 months ago.
mm,
And so they lost a bunch of work. These guys
hmm,
have marketed no matter what. They have consistently spent 10-15% of their budget on marketing, and they've dominated the market because of it.
hmm.
So for me,
So
it was probably an easier trust for me than it
mhm,
was for some of these other guys. But if they're listening to this, just it works. Marketing works. That's why it's there. Like just getting your logo and your name in front of people works.
yeah. Yeah, because you grew up in a very, like, pro marketing household. Like, you grew up in
True.
a just around people who knew it, and, like, I can imagine that a lot of people don't, and what they're gonna hear from a marketer is exactly what you just told them, which is, "It's
Yeah.
just trusted, it works." And it's sort of
Yeah.
this, like, believe the stories, but I think it's like a very rational argument because if everybody markets everything, like,
Yeah.
all the products that you have in your house are marketed one way or another, that's how you bought them.
Yep.
You didn't buy that thing because you didn't hear, like, you bought the thing because you heard about it. and somebody told you about it, even if it was your friends telling you, these are great knives, I love Cutco knives, they're awesome, like, oh great,
Yeah.
that's marketing right there. And so
Yep.
that same principle applies to your business. So like if you buy something because somebody tells you that it's a good product and you buy it, and then you say, well, I don't want to do marketing because I'm afraid it won't work, I don't trust it, but you
Right.
already trust it through your actions. So it's the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's
It is.
just
It's
on
the
a bigger
exact same thing.
scale. And so
It's
it's just one of
literally
those things
boils
that you just get into.
Yeah. It literally boils down to the most basic thing of if people know who you are, and like they know your name, they know how to get a hold of you, and they know what you do. This is
Yeah.
Prospector
Yeah.
Plumbing. They're
Yeah.
plumbers, right?
Yep.
Found them on Google. I call them, right? The more people that know that just we exist and that we do plumbing, the more people that are going to hire us. It's
Mhm.
really what it boils down to. And
Mhm.
so marketing is literally just telling people you exist and this is a service you offer to them. That's it.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's that simple. And it
Yep.
works very, very well.
Yeah, because there's a 0% chance that they will call you if they don't know you.
Yeah. Yeah. You got nothing to lose. But I mean, if you don't market, I was going to say you got nothing to lose if you try marketing. Um, but like if you don't market, you've got everything to lose. Like
Yeah.
the only marketing you're going to have is word of mouth at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people will say word of mouth is all we need. It's all we need. But I can tell you right now,
Right.
my last boss said that and he didn't make any money.
Mm.
And then I start my company and I do a ton of marketing. And guess what? We make money. And we grew to like 4 times the size of my last boss.
Yeah.
So I think I think it's a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Another thing, that's another thing to keep in mind is that marketing costs a lot of money.
Mhm.
And so you need to take that money that you spend on marketing and go put it in your cost of doing business and charge
Mhm.
the customer for that marketing and be
Mhm.
willing to spend a lot of money on marketing.
Mhm.
Like if you're spending 10 grand a month and it's not keeping you busy enough, right? Go
Hmm.
spend 20 grand a month.
Sure.
Yeah. Early on, I was spending I went and pulled the numbers the other day. I was spending like 20, I think it was 24,000 when I had 3 guys going, 24,000
Mhm.
a month. Um, which is not a small amount of marketing.
No.
And I think now in our area in Fairbanks, we're like top 5 spend in Fairbanks
Mhm.
in the whole city. We spend
Mhm.
more than all but a few other companies in town.
Mhm.
So you're talking like the big universities, the huge
Mhm.
native corporations,
Yeah.
like we're up there spending as much as those guys. I
Wow.
think we outspend the University of Alaska.
Wow. You
And they
probably
have a
make
huge
you
budget.
might make more money than them, just saying.
We might, who knows, dude? I don't know. They might be hurting these days.
They might be hurting.
Especially after everybody saw my reel about not going to college.
Yeah, oh, dude, yeah, you're their downfall.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to, like, donate or something to make yourself
I'm
feel better.
gonna start my own university.
Yeah, there you go. In Fairbanks, a competitive university.
That'd be awesome.
Prospector University.
It's not a bad idea. Teach people
Yeah.
good skills.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so it's not I mean, you built trust because you saw it worked, and then you just did it, and then you got the immediate feedback that it does work.
yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was like, okay, I understood. I do more of this to get more work.
Yeah.
And if I
What
need
about
and more work will lead to more money, right?
so I've heard this objection before, but I don't like big tech.
Oh yeah, well, good luck.
But I mean, like, yeah, good luck, but, like, what about those people out there who, like, there is just this belief that, like, "Oh, these companies are bad and they're evil, and I don't wanna give them my money."
So
Like
I would agree with you. They are bad. Well, I don't know if they're evil inherently, but I can see their point of view. Like I would agree with them.
mhm,
Big tech, the Facebooks, the Googles, tracking your information, all that kind of stuff is I can see it can be really bad, right? It can be very
mhm,
evil, and I don't necessarily want to support that. And I especially don't want to support like my kids addicted to their iPad or their phone on social media.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like if you want to have a business, that's where we're at. We're
Sure.
in the day and age where advertising is done on your phone because that's
Mhm.
what's in front of most people's faces.
Mhm.
So if you want to tell people who you are and what you do, the best place to find them is on their phone
Hmm.
because they always have it in front of their face. Most people
Mhm.
do. Like you go
Mhm.
sit on a bus, everybody's got their phones out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody. There may be
Mhm.
one person that doesn't. 20
Mhm.
people on the bus, 19 of them got their phones out.
Hmm.
So I would say to them, like, if that's you, then don't be in business
Sure.
because you're not going to be
Or
able to run a very good business
or
or go
maybe
fund it.
just be content with being really small and word of mouth, and like understand that you're going to be less profitable and you're going to be a lot smaller. You're never going to get to this point where you might want to be.
Right.
But because like I've talked to guys where they've only word of mouth and
Yeah.
they're running a shop and they got a couple guys, but they're only word of mouth. Now they're
Yep.
like legacy companies, right? So they're like
Right.
multi-generational, and so they can sort of do that. But if they ever want to scale to a point that is beyond that, it's going to be very, very difficult, impossible even to do
Yeah.
that. So it's just
Extremely.
the reality. So it's just the reality. If you don't want to, you know, support big tech or whatever, then you're just going to have to make a sacrifice on it.
Yeah, you will. And that's like one thing to think about though is like those guys that are running 2 or 3 man shops, even if they're charging enough, if they're only able to keep 2 or 3 guys busy off of word of mouth, then they don't really have a very good business,
Right.
right? They
Hmm.
likely have a job,
Right.
and they're probably not making enough money to like retire at the end of the day.
Right.
Most of them. There's probably these outliers that do, right?
Hmm.
But most of them just have a really crappy job. And so they would literally be better off going and getting a real job
Hmm.
where they could get a retirement, get off on time, not have all these extra responsibilities, and then not have to worry about big tech.
Yeah, I kind of think of it like, in my mind, like what's more important, me not supporting these companies or me trying to provide a better future for my family and the people that I work with or the people that work for me. And so it's like, to me,
Right.
it's like, I just go, which one of these do I value more? And which one of these can I go after? And so then I say, yeah, it'd be great if big tech didn't know everything about me and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, my goals require me using them. And I never feel bad about it. I don't feel like a
Hmm.
moral pain to do so. Like it doesn't bother
Right.
me because at the same time, and we've talked about this, that like more often than not in a Western culture, something that we are interfacing in is probably not aligned with us morally. And I mean, that could be like a crappy excuse, like, well, you can't win it all, so just do whatever you want. But like, it's a really hard belief to be consistent. And so I know that there are tons of people who do really, really good things through advertising using Google, using Facebook.
Right.
And to me, it's not like, oh, it's evil. It's like, no, it's a tool. And
Yeah.
yes, I can use this tool for evil. I certainly can. And it is used for evil, but I can
Yep.
also use it and do a lot of good with it. So it's just a
Yep.
tool in my mind.
Yes. I agree. It's like blaming spoons for Rosie O'Donnell being fat.
Did you just make that up? I've never heard that before.
You like that one?
Dude, that's awesome. That's, yeah.
It's or like
That should be a
guns, right? It's the
t-shirt.
same. Yeah, it's like the same thing with guns, right? A
Yeah,
gun is a
sure.
tool. It can be used for good. It can be used for bad. Is it the gun's
Yeah.
fault? No. So like big tech, same thing. Is it
Mm-hmm.
big tech's fault? So, some of it maybe it's a little more
Mm-hmm.
gray area there, but at
Right.
the end of the
Yep.
day, it's a tool that if you have a plumbing company in this day and age, you've got to use it to your advantage. If
Yeah.
you want to grow a self-sustaining good plumbing business where you can pay your guys well, where it's less risky
Mm-hmm.
and where you make money.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, that's a good trade-off. I'll use the
Mm-hmm.
tool all day long.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate this conversation. That was yeah, that was helpful.
You
And I
bet,
hope
man.
that everybody listening will think about marketing and try to get over these little limiting beliefs.
Hopefully. Just go here's okay, well, I'm going to leave you with this. If I was to do it all over again, I would make it this simple. I would start my business. I'd get a name. I'd get a logo. Then I would get my minimum viable product, my van, my tools, just so I can
Mm-hmm.
go do the work and no way to answer
Mm-hmm.
the phone. Then I would go get a credit card and I would put my marketing for the next 3 months on my credit card
There you go.
because I'm 100% positive that if I did the marketing, I would make it back within 3 months.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. See you, Holmes.
Thanks, Jered. See ya.
Hey guys, if you like that episode and you want to see more content like that, I picked out a special episode just for you. All you got to do is click right here. Go ahead and do it. Just click right there.